One of the big deals for us was going to Western Model. I mean, that was kind of a trek. We lived in Long Beach, and it was up in Gardena. And but I remember going there the first time, and it was like walking into a church. For us, because all these guys, Braverman, Hustings, I don't think we even knew who they were at the time. But man,
really?
they were fast. Yeah, and
These
we
are
were
the
nothing.
fast guys.
Hey,
Yeah.
they were all fast and they were all grown-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
all old men.
Yep. And it was, believe me, I am so glad we held our tongue and didn't sound off like assholes, because when we started beating them, they didn't like it.
Oh, yeah.
It was easier for us
Oh,
to
that must have been really,
give them the raspberries,
really exciting to beat the old
Yeah,
guys.
they didn't like that shit.
Yeah.
But eventually, they all began to migrate to J&J.
Yeah.
Pretty much. At least Gene did.
Well, see, J&J was a little more progressive. You put in the individual button starting lights and different kind of timing system, where Western basically stayed the same.
Now, you guys are running micro switches, the little click, click, click.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that even at first, even J&J just had regular, one button to start both cars.
Yeah. Right.
But the big thing
Yeah.
about J&J though was he had those brass bars rather than a braid, so
Yeah.
he was
Way superior.
keeping a lot more amperage going down that track all the way down the track, and I don't know if the surface was any better. I think
Was it a Formica surface?
J&J
Yeah, I'll tell you,
was.
it was, and I'll tell you, it's a pretty good thing that
Yeah, I don't know if
that
Western
we
was
didn't
paid
get
for
any,
it.
we didn't get any faster motors
Yeah.
at the time, because Moldy even did it with 36 volts, but you blow your rear tires off at the top end. Gropners couldn't handle it.
They just
We would have
fly
had to
hard.
go to some kind of tire of X the unknown. Where would we have went then?
Yeah.
We'd have been cutting up thongs. Well, that's what we did with the
Yeah.
road race cars. I'm not kidding
Really?
you. Yeah. It's got a pressed closed cell rubber,
Yeah.
and you just make a round.
Oh.
Die.
In fact, you can
Interesting.
use a friggin' hole saw for a door, and just saw them out, mount them, and
Turn them down.
turn them. They'd be a hell of a lot easier than the Grobners, but the Grobners, if you treated them right, they bit well and they were durable.
Yeah.
But just like with Moldy, I had a couple where top end, boom, just blew them off.
They must have been made
And
out of
that
pretty
meant-
good rubber, because that pair I've got there are from the '60s and they're still.
Yeah, well,
soft
you
and
wouldn't
pliable.
want to blow, you
Or
wouldn't
you
want to
could
run
use
it.
them.
No. No, but at least they don't crumble.
Amazingly, they're not all
Right.
crumbly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look pretty good, man.
Those have never been run, I don't
Oh,
think.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Neat
But
stuff.
yeah, it's just everything about the cars, because we had to create it ourselves, pretty much. Just made it that much more interesting. I mean, the tires, you had to figure out, what kind of tires, and
Yeah.
how you going to keep them on the rims,
And you just wouldn't believe how great all of us, whether we were a craftsman or like Molly, a really, detail guy,
artists.
every one of our little odd 80 screws and all that shit was perfect.
Yes.
All of us took our time
Oh, yeah.
just to make the suckers
They're
perfect.
all
See,
masterpieces.
this thing is like totally hatchet, and that thing, and you look at these things, you go, I know some of them are old, but yeah, it was a labor of love, that's for sure.
Yeah,
One-
I mean,
one
how
of the
many
things-
cars do you think we built?
Oh, who knows?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know, but you probably build more because you build a lot of them roadsters.
Different
Stuff.
classes.
I built like one of each of those, maybe, But the reason I built dragsters, just like we were talking about earlier, was more entries.
Yeah.
There was more entries, so there's more racing. You go down there with a stock car or a roadster, it might only be 3 guys
Yeah.
to run, but dragsters there'd be 12 or 15
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
something like that, so you could go have a race. That was huge.
Yeah, I kind of quit building dragsters when Ray Yates says, "Well, why don't you drive my car?" You couldn't race against yourself,
Sure.
obviously. So You know, I just, okay, I'll drive his cars. His were better than mine anyway.
Yeah.
But, um,
With this,
yeah, it just depends on what you're into. I mean, it's just like real drag racing. Why do some guys have roadsters and coupes and stock cars
Right.
and dragsters? You know, because
it's not
what
always
they like.
money.
It's what they like.
You
It's
know?
just a personal preference.
Yeah,
Yeah, and how much money you got.
yeah.
Yeah, so, but that was,
You know,
Just-
you guys might know when Dave Becker came out to my place many years
Mhm.
back in the '80s when I got a couple cars from him. He told me that somebody, I don't know if it was Chuck or somebody, was building a car for the Best of Show, and he had it all polished, and he wanted to have it Dow 7. And he took it down to wherever they did it, and they left it in the tank too long, and it came out black, and he just freaked out. Do you recall whose car that
Is
was?
that you, Mold?
No,
No?
Did you remember hearing that story?
no.
Yeah, it's just one of the trivial.
I always thought it was funny that one of these articles has got a stock car that I made, you know, and you know, and I made it especially, you know, for the magazine and that sort of thing. What a piece of crap! That thing. I had to get rid of that thing right away. Looked okay, but didn't go.
You know, I've often wondered who actually came up with that Sidewinder design based on the 85A before the.
Oh, Pittman did.
Really?
Pittman made a bracket.
Oh,
Yeah, the Pittman made several motors that had the rear axle mounted
oh
on
yeah.
it.
Well, that's right. I knew that, but I mean, who
And
made
so-
the one-piece frame rail though?
Oh, on the frames on the side?
Yeah, who came up with that? idea?
Whoever
That-
used the mag first, I have no idea. But I know that early stock car I built, I just used brass rail
Right.
on the side. You know, I had sheet brass back here and then rail.
Yeah, I remember in one of my first
front.
road race cars, I had the Pittman adjustable axle bolt-on plates. But I've always wondered who in the heck, because somebody had to have thought of that.
Hey, somebody walked
One-piece
into one of
frame
them.
rail.
Somebody walked into one of the metal shops and saw the disc.
Maybe
He said, "Hey, that's long enough to make a
Yeah.
dragster out of it."
that could be
And look,
it.
the motor will fit.
Well,
you know.
Yeah, you know, it seems to me, you know, going up to Western, was that they already had cars like this, a rear engine,
Yeah.
cross-mounted type of car. That was their design, and
Yeah,
it
they
might have been
were-
Cartwright because of the way the motor was shaped.
Uh-huh.
You know, that made it so, and I think they figured out they didn't want to have, you know, going back to a ring and pinion kind of gear
Sure.
like we used to do in the road cars.
Right. In
For a long
line.
time, yeah, because
The bevel gears.
yeah, it's just too much drag and
Right.
and with all that torque right off the bat, it just stripped the gears
Yeah.
and it just wasn't very practical. So I think those things come about pretty quickly.
Necessity.